Alan, Ning, and Chris Gore, the dynamic duo, reviewing films high and low. Weekly on YouTube, they take the stage with wit and wisdom they engage.
Chris Gore, the indie film king, found a film threat, let freedom ring. With a voice that's bold and a laugh that's loud, he stands out in the critic crowd. Alan Ing, with the critical eye, sees the details others might pass by. Together they form a perfect pair, bringing movie magic to the air.
Alan, Ning, and Chris Gore, the dynamic duo, reviewing films high and low. Weekly on YouTube, they take the stage with wit and wisdom they engage.
Hey, it's Chris Gore, got the knowledge in store. Oh yeah, Alan Dan, watch him chop up the flair. Movie and TV show reviews what you need. Film threats on fire, we're planting the seeds. Film threat, we keep it real. Dug into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the phone, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round. 1, 2, 3. From blockbusters to indie gold. Oh yeah, Chris and Alan.
Welcome, everyone. Hey, it's Chris Gore. We are live from our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. Alan and I are here visiting Washington. We are invited to be part of a panel to talk film and culture along with the critical drinker. More on that later. Today, Gina Carano settles her lawsuit with Disney. Lots of other movie news, including Superman news and reviews of films, including Weapons. Alan is here. He's waiting in the wings somewhere. So let's start the show. Let's get Alan here. Let's get going. Let's go. Come on. Oh God, where did he go?
Hello, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is A.I. Allen. And unless I have a malfunction, I will search for Alan. Alan? Alan? Alan?
Hey, man.
Hey.
We just had breakfast.
I know. I'm like, what has it been, a minute?
Yeah. Breakfast with the drinker we just had. So there you go. She says low volume. All right. Is that our voices?
On me or on...
I don't know. You sound great to me.
Okay.
How do I sound? You got to let me know. Be specific.
Well, you sound fine to me. I don't know if...
All right. Well, let me know.
Oh, Chris, you are muffled. Chris,
I'm
it's
muffled.
You.
How am I? All right.
What mic are you using?
I don't know. Let's see. I'll adjust it here. So there you go. What is going on, Alan? We've been having fun here.
Yeah, I feel like I just got here yesterday and I woke up just hours ago, an hour or so ago.
Am I better now, volume-wise? Am I better volume-wise? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Let me know. We have so much to do, but we are in Washington, D.C. doing a panel on Hollywood and culture. And last night we saw Weapons. We did an out of the theater reaction. We will do we'll talk more about that movie certainly. But I got something to show, Alan. I got something to show. We walked in the neighborhood right across the street. If I look out my window, I can see the Washington Monument. Last night went for a brisk walk. I wanted to walk to the movie theater. You had to take an Uber.
Yeah, because we'd be late, and we still had a mile and a half to go.
But on the way to the theater, we check this out. Here we are in Washington, D.C. Alan and I are doing a speaking engagement, and we are where, Alan?
We're at the White House.
In front of the White House, and we're still doing our show today. We'll be on Friday.
Yeah, and rumor has it you can see presidents walking on the roof of the White House.
Really? What, ghost presidents?
Yeah, ghost presidents.
Anyways, we're in D.C. for this event, and should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But
well, we're going to see Weapons, which I shouldn't say in front of the White House.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, we'll show. We'll have more videos for members only. Look, we were in front of the White House, and that was a lot of fun.
We were a football field away from Melania Trump.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to it and see who's here today. I'm a little tired. We're
I
off.
know.
Our clocks are off. So be patient with us here, but let's go.
Yeah, from Beach Dad. If I've been anticipating this review more than any superhero movie this year, let's go.
All right, we are gonna go. We're gonna go.
Fun with collecting. Good morning. Are you film threatening me? Are you film threatening me? Napsky, are you both in the same room? Is Alan in the bathroom?
How is the bathroom?
Bathroom's okay. I mean, it's a hotel bathroom,
I'm sorry about earlier.
but we're not in the same room. Actually, you're on the floor above me. So the first time in a long time, Chris is on top.
Pivoting over to Lord Thothy, who says,
Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Sign up as a member. Join us on X, Discord, Rumble, and Instagram. Buy our merch at shop.filmthreat.com.
yeah, go to shop.filmthreat.com. Our summer collection is still there, and we recently launched our Spirit of Halloween collection, and in the coming weeks, back to school collection. What will our back to school collection have?
Really short skirts.
Perfect. There you go. We were talking to Drinker at breakfast. He mentioned that he wears a kilt, which is apparently very manly in Scotland. I've never worn one, but there you are.
There would be no reason for me to wear one.
There you go. Okay, we have a lot to discuss. Let's get to our first news item today. Sydney Sweeney takes over Times Square. The Sydney Sweeney American Eagle jeans has dominated the culture conversation. People talking about, is she talking about jeans or jeans? I think it was all a joke. It was all a joke. But now this promotion, which really doesn't need much promotion, let's be fair. Okay. Not much promotion needed. She turned up in Times Square in this ad. We'll play it quick. This is the ad where the screen kind of turns 3D for a second. And this says the controversial American Eagle ad appears in Times Square. Well, here you go. Literally wearing the jeans, posing and kissing and waving at all the tiny desert. Now we're here at this conference in Washington. Do you think Sydney Sweeney will come up as part of the conversation?
I hope so. I don't think you can get enough Sydney Sweeney talk at the moment.
Well, yeah, I mean, every channel's discussed it. It really is. What it does is it marks a shift in the culture. I think it is very meaningful. I think it's a shift in the culture, not to anything extreme, just normal. I mean,
It's a shift back. That's what you're saying.
It's a shift back to just, we're shifting back to default settings. Default settings are attractive women sell stuff. Simple as that. Jeans. I think other ads were much more racy. But I remember like jean ads for Calvin Klein, all kinds of ads that were, I don't know, considered racy. I remember not too long ago a Carl's Jr. ad with Paris Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that ad?
Yeah, and they were really lean. It wasn't just Paris Hilton, but a lot of models. And I just remember because Carl's Jr. is known for its barbecue sauce and its hamburgers, and how it would never stay in the hamburger.
Yes, it would get all over your face. I think they were talking about sauce, hamburger sauce, secret sauce, and or ketchup or mustard getting on your face when you're eating a Carl's Jr. burger. They were talking about sauce. Right, Alan?
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's that common sense thing where people, it used to be that people wanted to see attractive people in their movies, on their televisions, and in their advertising, and paid handsomely for it. And as we say, we're shifting back to. It feels like we're shifting back to that narrative. So, are you muted or is that me?
muted, but here's
Okay.
I just literally looked up Carl's Jr. commercial. This is here we go. Let's just watch. It's 30 seconds, Alan. 30 seconds. Here, let's watch this. Okay.
You want to join the Mile High Club?
Not right now, babe.
Whatever. Hey, want to join the Mile High Club?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Stacked a mile high with bacon, now anyone can join the Mile High Club. Introducing the Mile High Bacon Thick Burger at Hardee's and Carl's Jr.
What is to dislike about that ad? These are normal ads. The only who would be upset about these kind of ads?
People who are not attractive.
For the most part, yeah.
Ozempic clients.
Correct. Another big story in the news, and we'll get to your comments. Another big story in the news. Gina Carano settles her Disney lawsuit. This was the lawsuit over Gina Carano getting fired, so-called fired from her job on The Mandalorian. She played Cara Dune, a very popular character on the show, a strong woman. And she was, I would say that when you look at how Disney treated her, she was bullied. She was bullied and then summarily fired for her opinions. And this is an example of political bigotry. From Variety, Gina Carano, Disney settles legal dispute over Mandalorian firing. Quote, we look forward to identifying opportunities to work together in the future. She will probably never work with Disney. She probably got a handsome sum. And that's that. They will develop shows with her and never make anything. That's probably what will happen. I think it's sad that Disney and Lucasfilm chose to bend the knee to the mob that complained about her opinions when other people on that show were free to express their opinions. Alan, you have the notes for the story. Take it away.
Yeah, so in a statement to Variety, a Lucasfilm spokesperson announced the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilms are pleased to announce that we have reached an agreement with Gina Carano to resolve the issues in her pending lawsuit. Ms. Carano was also well respected by her directors, co-star, and staff. With this lawsuit concluded, we look forward to identifying opportunities to work together with Ms. Carano in the near future. Carano was dismissed from her hit Star Wars series after a series of controversial social media posts, including one that compared being Republican to being Jewish in the Holocaust. She later filed a wrongful termination and discrimination lawsuit in 2024, demanding at least $75,000 in damages and asking the court to compel Lucasfilm to rehire her. Disney pushed back, and with its lawyers arguing they had a constitutional right not to associate their artistic expression with Carano's speech. Carano responded publicly on X, accusing Disney of political discrimination. They will fire you if you say anything they disagree with. The First Amendment does not allow Disney to wantonly discriminate, which is what they have done in my case. Her legal fight was notably bankrolled by Elon Musk, and Carano was not issued. She has issued a formal statement as of getting these notes, but she wrote a short message saying, "The truth shall set you free."
Well, we'll talk more about this on Versus with our whole panel, but there's something missing from this. There's something missing, an apology. And that apology is not just due Gina Carano. It is due everyone that Disney discriminates against. You know, you and I are part of the CCA. Even they released a statement to members talking about political bigotry. It should not be. We should all be free to have our opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's discuss ideas. Let's discuss where we disagree. We can maybe find common ground. Maybe on some issues we won't find common ground. But the point is is this was motivated by politics and activists within Lucasfilm, and should not happen. And ultimately, look, talent should just not pick a side. I remember seeing the post that supposedly got her, fired. And I remember thinking, oh, that kind of describes what's happening now. They made it into something that it was not and not intended. But it felt at that time very real, that there was discrimination and the mob can come after people and be motivated. And I think, people might look back at how they behaved during that period and maybe think differently now. What are your thoughts, Alan?
Yeah, we actually talked about this morning with Drinker. But my feeling was that, it would be real easy just to actually go into Gina Carano's tweets at that time and understand what she was saying.
Yes.
But instead, the media allowed a narrative to be created, a narrative that she was being anti-Semitic, that she was full MAGA. Which you look at that stuff, none of that ever appeared. And what Disney wound up doing was acting upon the narrative as opposed to actually going in, finding out what she said, and then making decisions based on that. Because people just went off on the narrative versus the truth.
Right.
And look, in California, we have laws. You can't fire people for political positions just because you don't. And this is the state of California, so it's not a national thing. And then also you look at the things that Pedro and Rachel Zegler had said, other members of the Disney family, and while they weren't pleased with what they said, they let it go. They gave them a slap on the wrist, and they kept their jobs. While for some reason Gina got fired for it. It's just clear bias and clear unfairness. And I think we would have liked to have gone to court just so we could see what the discovery would reveal. But I think for the sake of Gina and her desire to, not stir up trouble for the sake of stirring up trouble, I think this is a win for her.
I think it's a win. I hope she got a lot of money. She will likely never do a project for Disney. If she is in The Mandalorian and Grogu, good. Put her in a cameo. Favreau, have the balls to stand up to Disney. And I really think the thing that's missing is an apology. They could even say, look, we overreacted. Okay. We're maybe not going to listen to the 25 people in the office that feel strongly that don't like her. And I feel like this should send a message to people within organizations to push their own personal agenda and all their biases out on the rest of the world and the cast for a show. You can't do that anymore. So this is a good thing, although I would have liked to have seen a lot of it.
Seen the evidence. I mean, the worst part is that they smeared her character so much that she couldn't get another job.
Yes.
And that the only people who would hire her afterwards was the Daily Wire.
Yeah. Hey, Alan, are you looking forward to Wicked?
Yes.
Well, guess
Wicked
what?
for good. Come on, let's get the real title.
Wicked for good, or it's Wicked 2, whatever. Wicked.
The best song from the musical.
Yes. Well, here it is. It's from Universal Pictures, actually UK posted this. Let's take a look at this featurette about Wicked for Good, because I know you're a fan. Much does Cynthia Erivo look like Nosferatu?
Oh my gosh.
Look, she's very talented. Okay.
She can legit sing.
She can legit sing. I think she's batshit. I think if Netflix does Nosferatu, there's only one person to cast. That's Cynthia Erivo. She's wildly talented. And like a lot of actors that are wildly talented, they can be crazy. And she's right up there. Let's watch this. This is at worst, there'll be great clips from the junket.
Here's the thing: who would have thought that putting her in green makeup and putting a witch outfit on her would make her a million times more attractive?
The green makeup and outfit is supposed to make her ugly. She actually looks better. Oh God, let's watch this. Let's keep going. All right, Alan, how you're there day one?
Yeah, I'm in. Look, we've seen the play many times. You have to admit the second act is underdeveloped and too short.
The second act is actually not great. It's
not
flawed.
The best thing about the second act are the songs, and but there's potential you see in the second act, especially when it comes to the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion, that is touched upon in the musical, but it plays a bigger part, and I think that's what they're leaning into with this. And so this movie, I'm excited because it's going to be. I think it's going to expand the second half of the musical in bigger and better ways. Hopefully, they proved they could do it right in the first act. I think they'll hit it home with the second act, and so I'm definitely looking forward to Wicked for Good.
Well, the origin of the Tin Man, Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow is tragic.
Yeah,
it's tragic when you find out who they are, who they were, and getting there. So. That was never handled well in the play. It was sort of glossed over.
Yeah, it was a matter of fact,
Yeah. But I hope in the movie they do a better job. Let's get to some really encouraging news. How James Gunn's Superman film is driving comic book sales. This is from a tweet from Jetpack Comics, a comic store I am familiar with. We follow each other. And Jetpack Comics says, we've had billion-dollar comic book movies drop and didn't see a soul in here looking for comics to go along with it. But since James Gunn's Superman dropped, it's been nonstop. Single issues, collected editions, action figures, you name it, Superman is cool again. This is from a comic book shop, okay? That's encouraging. You've got other news there, Alan, from what I understand.
Yeah. So unlike most comic book movies, the new Superman film has accomplished a rare feat. It's actually selling comic books. While films like Thunderbolts, Red Hulk, Sam Wilson, Captain America made to theaters with little to no ripple effect on comic book sales, Superman has sparked genuine interest among moviegoers to explore source material. Crypto is even popular now, says owner of Rodman Comics, adding, I even had to reorder the latest Crypto issue, which is great. Customer enthusiasm for the film has been overwhelming. Out of all the customers here at Rodman Comics who have seen the movie, only one person didn't give it a high review, the store reports. Some fans returned multiple times during the first week alone. This excitement has led to a surge in demand for comics connected to Superman and his universe. A major factor in this comic book to film synergy is James Gunn, director of Superman and creative force behind the new DC universe. Gunn is actively engaging with comics that inspired the films and promoting them directly to fans. When he tweets about a comic here in the store, it sells out, says the retailer. Gunn's mention of Kingdom Come by Mark Waid and Alex Ross, for example, caused a rush in demand. I am scrambling to order more of it, which is also great. This stands in contrast to Marvel Studios and its head Kevin Feige, who the article criticizes for distancing the films from their comic origins. A visit to a troop of Girl Scouts years ago revealed that most of them didn't know Guardians of the Galaxy from the comics until one Googled it, and they became excited about the characters of Groot and Rocket. Similarly, newer shows like Ironheart have sometimes been reported on without acknowledging their comic book origins. It made it seem that the creators of the Ironheart show were creators of the character. In conclusion, the Superman film not has only been a cinematic success, but also a cultural course correction, reconnecting audiences with comic books themselves. The store owner simply puts it, my thanks to James Gunn for letting it be known that comic books do exist and for promoting them.
And we should mention that story is from Bleeding Cool and that's exciting.
Yeah.
It's getting people to read the comics. I mean, that's, yes.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Look, Thunderbolts is nothing like the Thunderbolts from the comics. There's no connection between the two, other than I guess Thunderbolt Ross. Not that I read Thunderbolts, but I know a little bit about it. And even Thunderbolt Ross was not that interesting of a character to want you to go back, research, and find those issues.
Right. And in related news, Warner Brothers confirms the Batman 2 for 2027. This is in Variety. We should also mention James Gunn is so Batman Part 2 to start filming in spring. WBD CEO David Zaslav confirms James Gunn writing next movie in Super Family. So we have Supergirl next summer, and I'm thinking leapfrogging that will be another Superman movie, maybe a up movie.
Or a team up maybe with Supergirl being in the Super Family with Crypto.
Who knows? Not sure if you have notes or much.
Yeah, I do.
Expand upon with this, but tell me.
All right, so Warner Brothers Discovery has officially confirmed that Batman Part 2, directed by Matt Reeves and starring Robert Pattinson, will begin filming in spring of 2026 for a theatrical release on October 1st, 2027. After several delays because of a lack of a script, the long-anticipated sequel has now entered pre-production, as revealed in a shareholder letter. CEO David Zaslav affirms the studio's commitment to long-term interconnected DC universe, stating, James Gunn is already preparing to write the next installment in the Super Family. Upcoming DC films include Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and Clayface, both set in 2026, and a new Wonder Woman project also in development. Director Matt Reeves will reunite with Colin Farrell, who is confirmed to return as the Penguin in the continuing storyline of the HBO Max series. Despite the wait, Gunn remains enthusiastic about Reeves' vision, confirming in July that he read the script for Part 2 and called it great. Reeves himself also recently reiterated his commitment to a full trilogy, saying that the sequel is sticking very close to the path we envisioned. So we're not going to get a Batman in the DC universe for a while.
There has to be. There has to be.
Not. They're making they're already committed to a third Batman movie.
Well, I think the Batman in Gunn's universe will be a very different Batman. He keeps talking about Batmite of all things. I mean, it's a little ridiculous in my opinion. I don't know.
But I think there'll be too much confusion if you have a James Gunn Batman and a Matt Reeves Batman competing year after year.
But I think that tone-wise, Matt Reeves' Batman is very different. It's the very dark Batman. I think Gunn's Batman will be more kid-friendly.
Yeah, Gunn's Batman will be in the Gunverse, the same universe that Superman was in.
Well, to be fair, Batman Returns, they had a McDonald's Happy Meal for Batman Returns, and Tim Burton complained that they want me to do toys and meals. That movie, go back and watch that movie. Batman kills people. Michael Keaton's Batman kills people. It's very dark. Michelle Pfeiffer's origin is dark. It's very Tim Burton. It's also underrated. It's a great Christmas movie, Batman Returns.
Along with Die Hard, yes.
Yeah. So, hey, let's go to comments here.
All right.
And I got to check something out. I'm having battery problems. So can you go through the comments top to bottom while I check out
Lori, you're going to have to...
my battery.
Okay, and then Atomic Lori, you're going to have to run through the stars. Yeah. Press M to start for 5. Hey, my dudes, if Congress were a movie genre, would it be slapstick comedy, psychological horror, or found footage? And who's directing this mess? I think a found footage version of Congress would be the most interesting of it. Because I think that would delve into the sausage factory.
The sausage made in Washington?
Yeah. All right, next one. Jean Hu gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. Thank you for that, Jean Hu. Geek Flag with Nate knows for 2. If you guys are still here on Sunday, can do lunch. We unfortunately we're leaving tomorrow.
We're doing a guided tour of the Capitol, which will be fun. With we're hanging out with Drinker. Actually, we're gonna be just guide hopping tonight.
Well, yeah, we're lucky to visit the Capitol tomorrow.
Yeah,
Put it
it's
that
gonna be fun.
Sergeant Slaughter, to quote the great AI Bundy, Al Bundy, pretty women make us buy beer, ugly women make us drink beer.
I love that quote.
Yes. 311 SE for 499. Alan, I know you don't want to see Passion of the Christ, but what do you guys think of Gibson's Resurrection Part 1 and 2 in 2027? Yeah, we have a video on that, but
Yeah, we have a video coming out about that, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
but I would say it'll definitely Part 1 will definitely be less violent than Passion of the Christ. Part 2 just may include the massacre Jesus' disciples by the end of the movie. As we know, all but one made it out alive. Nabsky for 5. What is your top 3 comic book movies with the highest replay value?
Original Superman,
Yep.
Batman 89,
Mhm.
The Dark Knight, or Batman Begins. They're kind of tied for me.
Let's see. Well, I'm going to have to throw in some of the Marvel stuff. So Guardians of the Galaxy 1, First Avengers, and Infinity War.
Those are good choices.
King Orso, Gore and Ing looking like my dad doing a Zoom from his bedroom.
What are we supposed to do? This is the look.
Well, you have your messy bedroom, hotel room in the background, while I wisely decided to just shoot in the corner of the hotel room.
I'm trying to get the lighting right. Although, ironically, I look very orange.
I got the lighting right. I'm using the sun as my lighting. Davina Duckworth, don't pretend propaganda is art or entertainment.
I mean, there's always, when the message is, to quote Drinker, the message. And I love that other people have adopted that and they'll give Drinker credit. He popularized that, the message. He should do a t-shirt that says the message. But yeah,
you know, but at the same time, I really want, I'm trying to get a hold of the Walt Disney war propaganda cartoons with Donald Duck.
I've seen them. I saw them at Telluride. Leonard Maltin did a presentation. It's called Disney's Unseen Treasures. He got things from the vault and showed it on film, not video, film. So I've seen them. And look, all movies have some form of message underneath the surface. Does it tell you what to think or how to think? Does it make you think or tell you you have to think this way? I like movies that make me think. And then I come to my own conclusions. That is the best filmmaking.
Yeah. Some of my favorite movies are about opinions I don't agree with, but presented in a way that was respectful, that understood both sides, and tried to convince you of their side, but at least gave your side the respect due to present it properly, truthfully.
Right. Okay, Alan, I think it's time. We have to review some movies.
Yeah.
But I have a special message here. Someone wants to talk to us before we have a lot of films to review. Let's go through them. We are reviewing Sketch, Freakier Friday, Weapons, It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley, Death Sonata, and K-Pop Demon Hunters. And we're going to do it in the next hour. But someone has a message for us.
Chris, Allen, how are you, gentlemen? I hope I get a better review from you two, especially after that Silver Surfer debacle.
Well, I don't know what she's talking about.
At least she admits it.
Well, yes. She's acknowledging it. But it's time, Ellen. Let's review films. A lot of new movies opening in theaters. It's not all about superheroes. Sketch is here. This is from Angel Studios. This is a film about a brother and a sister. It's focused on the young girl. Tony Hale plays their father, and they recently lost their mother. Tragically, they're not orphans. What do they say in the movie? It's actually very clever.
Oh, I forgot, but it has something to do with orphans.
Yeah, the kids wonder if they're orphans, but their dad's still alive, played by Tony Hale, of course.
Alive and still their father.
Yes, being he's a widowed, he's a widow, and trying to raise his kids. And his daughter is, well, she's into dark things. She keeps a notebook filled with sketches of monsters, and they're cleverly named. Some of the monsters, one of the monsters I thought that was very clever was Eider. It's a spider that's a big ball of an eye. It's an eye.
Yeah, it's the one in the poster there.
Yes, exactly. So she draws these monsters in her sketchbook. A counselor at her school is very concerned. And when the notebook...
Should mention that these are violent pictures.
They're violent and bloody.
They're just not monsters, cute little monsters.
Yeah, they're violent and gory looking, and maybe not for a young child. The sketchbook disappears in the water that maybe has some magic where the monsters actually come to life. And this film ends up being, without giving away too much, it's like, in a way, kind of like Jurassic Park, or the last act of Jurassic Park, where these monsters, it's a horror movie for kids. That's a throwback to things like the Goonies movies from the 80s and 90s, kids films that featured adult themes. But it's more than that. It's also about healing. It's also about healing over the loss of a parent. I think it's mostly for single digit age kids, although I think it's a safe, scary movie for young kids, because having raised two kids like to be scared. They like to, one of my favorite things to do with my kids was to chase them, and I was the monster. That's a simple game. It's something primal in our heads. Going back to our lizard brains, we kind of like that, the relief of escape from being chased by a monster. That's what this movie is. It's very clever, very well done in terms of the way they bring these drawings actually to life. There is an app that comes with this that they released along with the movie. It's just called, look up Sketch App. You can take your own drawings and make them come to life, or take a photo and you can make that photo turn into a 3D monster. So kind of a clever tie-in. I think Angel Studios is really good at scaling their budget to the market. It's a really good movie for kids. So, Alan, what did you think of Sketch?
Yeah, I like Sketch, and the biggest reason is, we've seen movies like this before. A girl draws a picture of a monster, it comes to life in wacky adventure. This is not a wacky adventure. The monsters she draws, when they come to life, they're not menacing in the fact that they're around the corner and they're going to eat you, but they are creepy and they are scary. And and I like that. I think that the writer director Seth Worley, he nailed the tone to make this movie different than other child monster movies. And the other thing is, and I'll say this again about two other movies, is that it's smart. It takes this horror genre and has it say something about something. This is what I complain about Hollywood movies of late, is that all it is a plot. The characters move from A to B to C, and at the end they come out victorious. In this movie, it's about grief. It's about healing from grief. And the entire movie surrounds itself around that subject and treats it in a very respectful way and a very helpful way. If you have kids who recently lost a parent or lost a loved one, this is a movie that will connect with them, because there are characters that the smart thing you do as a writer is you take these four characters and you give them a different approach to grief. Like, for example, the girl Amber, the way she processes her grief is that she draws pictures. In fact, to the point where the counselor in the beginning of the movie says, I would rather you draw violent pictures than not talk about it.
Right.
And then you have a father who can't seem to get past the loss, or decides that it's more important to run away from loss than it is to confront it. And then you have the young boy there who is kind of caught in between. He is sort of taking the father role and trying to keep the family together. And you take these viewpoints, you put it in a movie, and it says something about grief. And that's why this movie succeeds. That's why it's good. And that's why its tone just sets it apart from any other kid movie on the same subject that you'll ever see. So it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it is a thought-provoking, and it's a very empathetic movie, especially for children.
And if you have young kids of a certain age, I would say single digit, maybe 11 and under, I believe they'll love this. It treats it very seriously. It doesn't gloss over losing their mother. It's very much from the kid's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I compare it to Goonies and whatnot. So I give it a recommend for sure, especially if you have kids. It doesn't gloss over the serious aspects.
Yeah, and there's a third kid in the movie that is the comic relief.
Right. He's really good. He's good.
He's really good in this movie.
Let's go to comments. And I will say that I'll end on this. This is not a movie Disney could make. This is what I want to see. Disney would not be capable of making this.
Yeah, because the first thing in Disney's mind is children should not have to deal with this, or children. You know, we've seen it in some of these reports we've done. Is that for some reason we think we're experts in children, and we're not. And kids can and need to handle very adult subjects head on. All right. From Zodlander, I have a fear of Teletubbies, those hollow, soulless eyes. I watched a trailer for Sketch. I got the same feeling.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy. It is creepy. You're not wrong. Garth Knight returns. I still get scared when Alan chases me up a flight of stairs yelling, "I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you," like a very creepy uncle we've all had.
I used to do that to my kids. It's a simple game. I used to chase my kids around the couch. I'd almost catch them and then turn the other direction and freak them out. It was one of they loved it. It's so simple, but that's it. That's why I think tag is such a simple game for kids. You know, I'm going to catch you.
Yeah, and you should ask my nephews when they compare me with my other brother. Chris Moonlight Production. I saw Sketch as a short film a few years back from some VFX YouTubers. I love seeing that they got a fully realized as a feature. Yeah.
Yep.
It was quite a journey for them. Ulf for 10. Wow, really great to see Seth Worley get his first feature off the ground. I remember watching his short in 2010 with the whole After Effects boom. They were always entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. The really the human aspect of it is great. Mm-hmm. The way that the kids are awesome. Hey, let's talk about another movie that could be considered for kids. Freakier Friday is here. The sequel to was it 2006, the first Freaky Friday. And here it is. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back in Freakier Friday.
By the way, don't forget that there was a earlier version of Freakier Friday.
It's a reboot. This is a reboot of from Freaky Friday. This is now the 2006.
Was that Jodie Foster and Ellen Burstyn or something? I know it's Jodie Foster.
Well, this is the new one that involves now grandkids. And Alan, why don't you tell us the story of this? It's Disney, so I know you love it already.
Yes. All right. So it takes place years after the events of the first Freaky Friday. Anna, played by Lindsay Lohan, has a kid whose father left, working as a single mother. Tess is now the overly involved grandparent who is now a famous online therapist or TV therapist, whatever. And so in this case, Anna and Harper, her daughter, is having problems. Harper just wants to be a free spirit, wants to do her thing. And Anna is that parent that tries way too hard to connect with her daughter, offering her safe space, overdoing it when it comes to expressing your emotions, but then at the same time needs to be a parent and offer some discipline, and it's just not working. Well, while Anna goes off to school, she is confronted by her rival, an international student named Lily, and she is kind of this popular girl who's into fashion, and decides that Harper is her target, and the two will never get along. They get into a food fight, which forces them to get suspended, which means the parents have to come in. And so Anna comes in to a meeting along with Lily's father, Eric, who's played by the acolytes Manny Jacinto. And did you realize that?
I kind of thought he looked like him, and then I was like, oh, I guess
Yeah,
it is him.
it is him. Yeah. Well, Eric and Anna, after first meeting, fall in love, and months later they get engaged and are about to be married. To the dismay of Lily, who realizes that she's now permanently going to be living in Los Angeles when she wants to return back to England, and for Harper, who just doesn't want to have Lily to be her stepsister. And during the bachelor party, there's a medium there, a palm reader played by Vanessa Bayer, who sees that their paths had crossed long ago, and that the same fate might happen to them. And lo and behold, the next morning, body swapping happens. Anna swaps with her daughter Harper, and Tess swaps with Lily. And as a result, the young girls, now the adults, realize that here's their chance to break up the wedding, and they plan out to do that. But in order to switch back, ultimately, they have to learn a valuable lesson. So yeah, it's the updated version of Freaky Friday involving grandchildren.
It's freakier because it has like 3 generations.
Yeah.
Mother, daughter, and then granddaughter. Granddaughter and relation to be, I guess, through Manny Jacinto. This is Disney, at what Disney does best. Everything is diverse, everything is safe. While the ending kind of got me, it was like there was an emotional moment where Lindsay Lohan has a moment with her daughter. She's a pop star that didn't really take off.
Yeah.
Was in a band and has a moment. She's now like a manager of a band, and she has a moment on stage, a musical number, a song that she wrote that her daughter thinks the song was for an ex-lover, but the song was for her daughter. And that
spoiler alert.
Oh, who cares? Does anyone care about spoilers for this movie? It's not a big spoiler, but she wrote this song for her daughter, and I thought, oh, okay, that's what Disney does well. But I did not like this movie. I found it just so typical. I feel like all the check boxes were being checked. I feel like I've seen it before better. I like the idea of brain switching movies, but they're never great. Someone should do a film, an anthology film, 12 movies about brain switching, and make it interesting. You and I switch brains. Why don't we switch brains? Make that happen. Or you switch brains with your dog, Molly. Or something. Like anything. I just feel like seen it before, done better. Not for me. But an audience will love. I actually do like Jamie Lee Curtis, and I like Lindsay Lohan. So I like those. I like them as actors, but didn't love it. Alan, what'd you think?
Yeah, so I got the invite for the early screening, and it happened to be at the mall my daughter really likes, and so I said, "Hey, we're gonna go see Freakier Friday because I'm leaving for DC, and it's at your favorite mall." And she's like, "Well, I'll go only because it's at my favorite mall." so we went, and we had a great time. We went to Barnes and Nobles, which is her favorite store for some reason, and then so all this to say is we had incredibly low expectations going in. In fact, the worst part of the trip was walking in to see Freakier Friday. That said, we actually had a really great time with Freakier Friday.
God.
Oh my. People are asking, yes, in the first Freaky Friday movie, my grandfather's restaurant is in it. That's where they get the body swap. And I'm like, oh, great. They're going to pass that on to a white woman now. But they brought the Chinese ladies back who were involved in the. So I'll give them the pass on that. Look, why does this movie work? Why did it work for us? The biggest thing is that each of the four characters had a distinct character arc. Yeah, there was a lot of silliness. There was a lot of silly humor going on. The whole, kids learning what arthritis is, and the older ladies, loving the fact that they have a tight ass now. But
I did like that.
yeah, there's that stuff that you expect from a body swap movie of, what's it like to be young again, what's it like to be old. But at the same time, it is this love story. It is a love story between Anna and Eric. It's also a love story between Anna and Harper, and then Eric and his daughter, and just parents really trying to navigate teenhood, and doing a horrible job at it. And this is a theme that has run through movies for decades. Parents and teens, and this movie really got it. Each character, like I said, all four of them had a distinct character arc and something they had to learn, and a lesson they had to learn in life, and they learned it in a very interesting way. That to me, that this script, this is the second of the three movies that I'll say had a smart script behind it. It wasn't just about the gimmick; it was about the journey that these characters go on. And as you say, the ending, there's a touching moment in the ending, because this is about parents and teens connecting in a way that they have never connected before, and every parent can relate to that. So if you're a grown-ass man like I am, no, I'm not recommending you go out and see this movie. It's not a movie you have to go see, but this is definitely a movie about mothers and daughters. And I think if you're in that relationship, and if you like old sappy Disney movies about family, you're going to enjoy this movie.
Well, the thing is this. I have no problem with this movie existing. It's fine. I just remember liking the original better. I think this is really for women and young girls. This is a movie for girls.
Yes.
But Disney used to be able to make movies for men. The computer who wore tennis shoes, all the Kurt Russell. I have a box set of the Kurt Russell movies that he made.
They remade those.
Did they? I bet they're
with Kirk Cameron in the Kurt Russell row.
Never saw him. Didn't know they existed.
It was on the Disney Channel.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that they used to reach a happy medium. I just think it's not for me. So I'm not recommending it. Maybe don't take my advice. If you're in the demographic this is going after, you'll probably like it. I can see people like the audience I saw it with liked it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to admit that it's one of the better Disney movies that have come out in a long time. And look, diversity isn't woke, but it's the preaching that's woke. And this movie doesn't preach.
Right. It doesn't. At least it has that. Let's go to comments.
All right. Ron Enriquez. Was surprised. I really enjoyed this one. Amazing that they brought back nearly every actor. The fiance character was a little weak for me. Well, it wasn't about the fiance character.
Right.
It was about the four main. But yeah, no, absolutely. You're right. Agent 57,000 DM. This movie sounds perfect to watch on streaming. You're probably right.
It's a streaming movie.
Yeah, but look, if you're a mother with daughters and you want to go out, even teen daughters, you just want to go out and see a movie, there you go. J.H. Black, 1970. The best brain switching movie was Vice Versa with Judge Reinhold. Go Party Time. It's more of a nostalgia thing for the millennials and Gen Zers who grew up with Lohan too.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the band was in the first movie too. Let's not forget that.
Hey, Alan, let's get to Weapons. Weapons is the movie from the director. It's only his second film. Zach Krieger, who did the movie Barbarian, which I thought was excellent. If you've seen it, that movie is a ride. The ending gets a little over the top, and it gets almost like too over the top. Doesn't overstay its welcome. It's smart. It's about something. And my expectations were high, especially based on the trailers that dropped for Weapons. And what I'll say about the trailers, we got to keep this spoiler free. Okay. because what happens in the second half of the movie, it is shocking, funny. I mean, you could see maybe parts of it coming. It's also the way it's told. So what you learn in the trailer, that happens in the first 5 minutes. 17 students from the class of, well, it's played by Julia Garner. She plays Justine Gandy. And all of her students but one disappear at 2:17 a.m. They go off into the night, never to be found. It's a mystery. It's months later. The school kind of was on hiatus. It reopens. Benedict Wong plays Andrew. He is the principal of the school. And it really begins at a PTA meeting, the community trying to deal with the fallout from what happened. There are grieving parents, and everyone is dealing with the fallout from this. It's a news story. That's literally the trailer is the first 5 minutes. After that, what the movie does that's very clever, it tells the story of the events through the eyes of different characters. We see Justine, the teacher, what she experienced. We see Archer, played by Josh Brolin, what he experiences as a father. We see Andrew, Benedict Wong, as the principal. We see James, played by Austin Abrams, as kind of a homeless, druggy, small-time criminal, drug addict, whatever. We see Alden Ehrenreich as Paul, a cop. And we see the POVs of these characters play out and how they experience events from a different point of view. And each one kind of adds to the story, building up to a climax we won't discuss. I was never bored. It's a slow burn, but I was never bored. It reaches, and I will say this, you're a fan of horror, Alan.
Yeah, I love horror.
Not really. It does a warning. It gets gory in a way you would never expect. And it's also I think it's the buildup of the grief, the gore, the shock of where this all leads, that people were laughing. And I've heard other people say the same thing, that people were laughing because it's a release, because look, it is a parent's worst nightmare. It's the only thing. I fear something happening to my kids more than my own death. So it's a very deadly, dark, and serious topic. And the characters in the story, of course, are dealing with all of that, the grief of a missing child. And all of that, it's the weight of that just hangs over the whole film, the seriousness of it. So when all is revealed, it's kind of like a release and almost, in a way, funny in some ways.
Yeah.
So we won't
give away the ending, but in the midst of the most horrific thing happening are some of the funniest things happening.
Right.
and the mix of the two emotions, it was this weird feeling at the end of the movie that felt great in a way.
But also, there are things that some people are going to say, I've heard other people say, that's over the top. Look, this movie set up rules. This is how this universe works. I don't like magic in movies. I think magic is it's like we can just make stuff up and it happens, right? Yeah. I like a movie that sets up rules and then follows their own rules. There is a T. There is a rule. There are rules about how the fantastical events that occur in the movie, how they work, and this movie follows the rules. It doesn't break its own rules. It follows the rules, and those rules are revealed slowly. That's why I say slow burn. So it's a thriller, becomes horror, and there's also real life horror behind it because missing children. That's a real life horror that people deal with all over the country. So I got to say, one of my favorite movies this year, if not one of the best horror films, if not the best horror film of the year. Barbarian was my favorite the year it came out 2 years ago ish. I love this. The performances, Josh Brolin as the grieving father who works in construction, Archer, he's fantastic. The relationships between everyone.
Even Silver Surfer was great in this movie.
Silver Surfer, Julia Garner is great in this movie. She's great. So strong recommend. One of my favorite movies of the year and one of the best horror movies, if not the best horror movie of the year. Can't really say best yet. We're coming up on October, but man, I loved every minute. And I'll see it again. Alan, what'd you think?
Yeah, I give it an 8.5, and I will never see this movie ever again.
I know why.
You were.
We sat next to each other, and I'd look over at you when something gory would happen, and I go like, haha, he's got his hand over his eyes. And then it got to a point where I was doing this. I was going like this, like, oh my, like I even screamed in the theater at one point.
Yeah.
There's
a woman sitting in front of us. So we're at the IMAX here in Washington, D.C. There's a woman, every time a scary moment, a jump scare would happen, she would lean back in her chair and run right into my knees.
But I literally, there's a shock moment. I just went, ah! Yeah. I mean, I literally just went, ah! It's that good. So
let me tell you why I think I give me this 8.5. This movie reminds, and this is the third movie that I will say is smart. It has a smart script behind it. This movie reminded me a lot of Strange Darling. Strange Darling, if you saw it, it's 8 chapters, but you see each chapter out of order. So I think you start in the middle with the 4th chapter, then you jump to the 5th chapter, then back to the 3rd chapter. And what happens is that when you see the first chapter they present, you go down a certain path story-wise. And then they bring you the next chapter, and that throws the chapter off. It throws you into a different direction. And so now you're moving back and forth, wondering what this mystery is and how this mystery will pay off. Weapons does the same thing, because it starts with Julia Garner's character, the teacher whose class disappeared, and the town is thinking that she's behind it or she did something behind it. And you follow her story through a good part of the first act. And then you move to a different story, to the Josh Brolin story. And it takes you in a different direction. And then the next 2 directions feel like it has nothing to do with the story until the other stories come in and it ties it all together. And to me, that's why this movie is so smart, because it knows exactly what story to tell and to what information about the mystery it's going to reveal. That when you get to the final story, that it all pays off, and that everything you've seen up until that point stitches together and brings you to this final conclusion that is gory, horrific, and hilarious. So yeah, I have mad respect for the writer-director, Zach Krieger. Very effective movie. He got the emotions. He understood his tone. He understood the rules that the world he was creating, stuck by those rules, and gave us a very smart movie. And like I said, I'll never see this movie ever again.
Chris, Alan, how are you, gentlemen? I hope I get a better review from you two, especially after that Silver Surfer debacle.
Well, we just gave it a great review, Julia.
Yeah.
So I hope you appreciate it. I loved it. I'll see it again. I'll see it again for sure, because it's the thriller aspect. Yes, the horror gets much into gory horror, and I did like that. I like that. It's over the top stuff. It's like
but there's the fun in seeing this movie for the first time, and I can never have that again. Because I've already seen the movie.
I love seeing it also with an audience. A movie like this really works with an audience.
Yeah, and there's going to be stuff you're going to miss, that you're going to catch that you missed the first time when you see it the second time. But I don't care about that.
Let's go to comments.
All right, from Ducky. I love Zach Krieger in The Whitest Kids You Know. I've only seen a few episodes. It was a funny show. It was one of the better sketch comedy shows out there.
Thank you, Ducky.
Goober for 32 months. Extra marks for the Naruto running. Naruto.
Naruto. Hey, thanks.
Naruto.
And thanks, Goober, for being a member. Alan and I are going to post videos during our tour.
Yeah. But even the running pays off.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
Everything pays off.
Yeah. Texafire. Weapons was disappointing. Bloated. Tried to be a Tarantino film and failed. Not enough gore not enough gore.
Not enough gore. Okay, what is your expectation? If you like a Terrifier movie, maybe there's not enough gore for you. But...
Yeah, or maybe you went to the bathroom at one point. Let's see. R.T.J. McCready. Weapons is not a 10. You've seen this film 8 times since 2010. It's superbly tropey, but it's funny and it has levity, and they committed to the trope.
Yeah, I don't think Alan said. I agree with you, Alan. 8 to 8.5. So yeah, not a 10.
And admittedly, I don't watch a lot of horror films, so my comparison base is small.
Yeah.
Lindsay, the cynical geek. The whole entire cast in Weapons was incredibly solid, especially Alden Ehrenreich from Ironheart. I'm glad to see that guy get meteor parts, given the garbage roles he's gotten.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. I'm sad to see him in stuff where he's.
Wasn't it Hail Caesar? That's the first time we saw Alden Ehrenreich, and then he got thrown in Solo, and then in Ironheart. Rhaegar Targaryen Prime. The comedy works in this, whereas it fell flat for me in Barbarian.
No, I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt was hilarious in Barbarian. I thought he was great.
Garth Knight Returns. You better have held hands during the movie, you queens. But I sat in your lap.
Yeah. Does that count?
Pilgrim Media for 2. Film threat greater than Grace Randolph. We're very different.
Pilgrim. We appreciate that. That's great. Hey, Alan.
Hey.
Let's do some more reviews.
Yes.
You saw a film that I did not see called Death's Sonata. Alan, tell me about Death's Sonata.
Okay, so Death Sonata is our indie review of the week. Figure it'd be nice to get a very low budget indie review in here. It's a horror film, and I think I prefer indie horror films than I do regular horror films. Because I think they tend to hit a lot of subjects that the mainstream media, just mainstream Hollywood won't tackle. In this case, we have a serial killer on the loose. His name is Charles, played by Douglas Downing III. He's a serial killer who is guided by a spirit demon figure who tells him who to kill. And soon Charles goes out there and starts killing people, and people start winding up dead from horrific means. And so there's a murder spree going on in town. Meanwhile, there's a young man, Matthew, who's suffering from debilitating bipolar disorder. He can't get a job. He's on government assistance. He is going through mandatory therapy with Dr. Fredrickson. He can't hold a job, and Matthew is he's just kind of on that economic bubble where he has a place to live, but he's just a check away from becoming homeless, becoming yet another statistic. And as the bodies continue to pile up, both Matthew and Charles have visions of death, visions of a mysterious figure calling out for his death. And Matthew decides to talk about it with Dr. Fredrickson, who may be involved with the Charles situation there. In fact, Dr. Fredrickson says, look, I have this pill for you. It's going to make you feel much better. I'm give you a little bit now, but if you can get Charles to come to my office so I can confront him directly, I'll give you all the pills you want. And Matthew decides, okay, he will attempt to lure Charles to Dr. Fredrickson, and that's kind of where I'll stop the movie. The rest of it is that. I like it because Again, it's smart. It has something to say about mental health. It uses mental health in a way that serves the plot and makes the plot interesting. And yet, at the same time, Hollywood would never take this approach when it comes to mental health. It is very low budget, almost a DIY level, where most of the budget is probably spent in the gore and the dismembered bodies and things like that. Also, Charles, his killings become more and more sadistic over time, which again is a trademark of indie films. So I would definitely recommend it for for the B movie horror fans who want something to watch on the weekend with friends.
All right, I'll recommend support the horror.
Yeah.
Hey, Alan, let me tell you about a movie that you did not see that I saw. It's Never Over. Jeff Buckley is a documentary about musician Jeff Buckley. He you might have heard about him from the 90s. He was big on MTV. He is the son, actually. Jeff Buckley is the son of Tim. Is it Tim Buckley? Let me get that right. Tim Buckley, and both very accomplished musicians. He lost his father at a young age, and this movie premiered at Sundance, the recent Sundance Film Festival. It was a documentary, like over a decade in the making. And I knew Jeff Buckley was familiar, but I didn't quite know. He came from the era of early 90s MTV. He knew people like Amy Mann at the time, and he recorded one album and then was on tour. He had people like he had this like meteoric rise where like Led Zeppelin, he had this sort of like voice, like, like Robert Plant can go very high, and he has almost not quite feminine, but he could, his voice could go all over the place. He was huge. And when I was watching the doc, I'm like, why is this guy so familiar? He died tragically in like 97 from drowning. And the movie begins with his early career, his relationship with his father, the recording of his first album, which kind of at the time bombed, but became like Rolling Stone called it one of the greatest albums of all time. And his career was on the verge of taking off, and he really could not handle that success. Having watched the film, I wondered to myself, did he orchestrate his own end? I don't know. I have questions. So, but there's footage of him, music, like footage from him on MTV, performances, phone messages to girlfriends at the time. His mother is featured prominently in the doc, and he left a lot of voicemails to people where it felt like he might have been saying goodbye. I got that feeling, and the circumstances of his death were kind of mysterious. He went into the water fully clothed, kind of strange, but it brought back a lot of memories of the music in the 90s at the time, and which I loved. Like, it was like, oh God, remember we had it so good. There'd be a new music video or a new single or whatever. He and who knows where his career would have gone had he not died tragically. It's a really amazing documentary. Like the ambitiousness of the footage, phone messages, music, like drawings from his notebooks, like lyrics that he'd written, like amazing stuff. He did covers, but he also did originals. He was on the verge, and then his whole career just went away, and he would have been forgotten if not for this documentary. So strong recommend. I believe it's coming to HBO Max, but it's in theaters now from Magnolia Pictures in limited release, indie release, small release. So go see it in a theater. That's my recommendation. It'll eventually, I believe, come to HBO Max. But strong recommend. It's an archival documentary, which having made a doc like that, very hard to do. Hundreds of hours of footage. And how do you tell a story?
And the rights you have to clear.
And the rights and music and, but his mother being involved, she was such a big part because his father became a big musician and kind of, his mother and father, they were like teenage sweethearts. She was in high school and had him as a baby, right? And raised him, did not give him up for adoption. It's really a mother-son story too. She's featured in the doc very prominently and talks very bluntly about what their relationship was like and how it affected his music and the way he looked at the world. So really amazing documentary about, even if you don't know his music, I was vaguely familiar and became a fan after watching it. And see, one of my idols, I love Amy Mann as an artist. She talks about Medium. They had this, not quite he was into her, she was not into him. She was very blunt. And but it was really interesting the way that story was told. And it's in the end tragic, but a really great, I love music documentaries too. So this one is a real standout. So
yeah, people are bringing up in the chat, but his cover of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah is considered the definitive version of that song.
Yes, it is. Like, that's when you hear Hallelujah, that's his version is the best. And you can find it on Spotify. It's on Spotify. Is the album. So yeah, it's amazing. So strong recommend. See it in the theater if you can. If not, it'll be on streaming soon. Let's pivot to the last documentary that we'll cover, or last documentary. Let's talk about.
It's sort of like a documentary.
Well,
it might as well be a documentary.
Let's talk about K-pop Demon Hunters, which has been in the top 10 on Netflix since it debuted in June. You and I finally saw it. And let me just say right up front, I loved this movie. I can't believe I loved it. It's a music animated movie in the vein of the Monkees and the early Beatles movies, where they take these characters, we see their lives. It's two rival bands, and they create a world. The first 5 minutes of this, if it doesn't hook you, turn it off. I knew within the first 5 minutes I would love this. It focuses on a band called Huntrix, these three women who throughout history, hunters have, through their music, kept a shield on the earth to protect them from demons. Huntrix is a musical band in the vein of like a Blackpink, if you know Blackpink. There is Rumi, Mira, and Zoe. They each are very different, but together the three of them have these dulcet tones, and their music protects the world from the underworld of the demons. They have a manager, Bobby, that takes care of their every need, and they play stadium shows. They have fans. They're into food and ramen. They have to carbo load before they do their show, and their music. We've been told that throughout history there are musical female groups that protect the world from demons. Well, a new band, a boy band, is formed of male demons that come to kind of woo or basically woo these women and bring their evil, their demon world, bring that to the top and defeat them. It's funny. It's very much like if you know bands like Blackpink or BTS, they seem to be loosely based on those bands. It's very cartoony, almost in a Tex Avery style. The movie is an hour 40, but the last 10 minutes is like a little mini documentary that shows you behind the scenes the real actors who did the voices and the music. I loved every minute. It reminded me of why I liked the Beatles cartoon or the Jackson 5 cartoon in the 70s, which I love those cartoons. They're goofy, they're funny, they feature music, very catchy music, and it tells a story that's very simple. Of course, Rumi is hiding a secret. I won't say what it is, but she's hiding a secret. And the boy band, what's the name of their band? What's it?
Saja.
Saja Boys is seducing Huntrix. It's I don't know. It's got action. It's so, and I love the sort of like anime, like goofiness of their acting, especially Zoe in this, who's in Huntrix. I loved every minute. I can't believe, yes, I got sucked in. It's a musical, it's animated, there's action and demons. It's like when you hear about it, you're like, that shouldn't work. And like a bowl of ramen, all these ingredients somehow come together, and it's wildly entertaining. I'm going to watch it again. What do you think, Alan?
I can't believe you didn't like Freakier Friday based on this review.
Yeah, I did like Freakier. I like this.
Yeah, okay. Look, the best I can say is it's okay. I don't have anything fundamentally wrong with the movie. It's just it's not my thing. You say the first 10 minutes, it's kind of like, because I was forced to review this movie, that's what got me through the first 10 minutes. Like I said, it's okay. It's fine. A lot of K-pop, not my thing. It's the movie. My feeling about the movie, it's always about a matter of taste. This is not my taste, but I do recognize the good in it. Because if it was just the Huntrix band going against the demon band, that would have been boring to me. But the secret you mentioned is the thing that said, okay, this is starting to get a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
And then, it just gets into this world where, demons, their strength is found in the fans of Huntrix. And if you take the fans of Huntrix away from them, then they become less powerful and the demons can take over. I found that interesting. But to subject me to an hour and a half of K-pop music. Look, I'd rather see live people dance than computer people dance, because I think it's more impressive when you see actual people dancing in synchronicity rather than a computer. Okay, so I'm nitpicking right now. All that to say is there's nothing fundamentally wrong with it, but this is just not my thing.
Well, having been a fan of Blackpink, I've watched their music videos. They get hundreds of millions of views. Even during the
but you don't have to be a part of that.
Yeah, but the thing is, having known that world, it was really funny. It really does pay tribute to BTS and Blackpink, if you know those bands. I prefer, actually, the band I like more, Baby Metal. You know Baby Metal? They're Japanese.
I don't know Baby Metal.
Look up Baby Metal. They're a metal band. It's three young girls, and they do like screamo metal music from Japan. You ever heard of them? Anyways, look at Baby Metal. I've never seen these. I haven't seen Blackpink in concert, but they really captured the world of like a K-pop band, how they're managed, the whole, and I thought it was fun. Everything's over the top, the expressions like of the characters, like when they see the boy band, the Saja Boys, for the first time, and their eyeballs turn into hearts, or like popcorn is coming out of the one girl's eyes and the other girl's like eating the popcorn. Like it's ridiculous. And the boy band, even one, you never see his eyes. One has like these abs. It reminds me of those musical cartoons I saw as a kid, like the Jackson 5, which I loved. The Jackson 5 when I was a kid, I loved it. I was around, I just loved it. I love those cartoons.
But you mentioned the monkeys. I mean, it's a lot like that as well.
it's like that ridiculous situations, ridiculous comedy. The Beatles cartoon was also stupid, but it was an excuse to play songs. Sometimes problems were solved by singing a song. I know it's ridiculous, but it's like all those influences, and I freaking loved it. I don't know how you do a sequel. It was emotional, the story of the demons. They're not, there's layers to it, and I enjoyed it. And it was just like everything about anime that you love. They did a great job. Ken Jeong plays Bobby. He's fantastic. And watch through the whole. I thought when the conflict ends, I'm like, there's 15 more minutes. Well, the credits go for like 15 minutes, but it's a little behind the scenes of the actors and the people who did the voices. That's really good. So stay through the credits. And I loved it. Strong recommend. But I have a huge problem with Netflix. Huge. That I can't believe you don't talk about this enough. It pisses me off. And that it's a really simple thing. A freaking IKEA chair. Open your movies in theaters. You can promote that they're on Netflix, but I would have loved K-pop Demon Hunter more if it was in the movie theater. On an IMAX screen with a packed audience. It would have been much more fun. While Netflix, I love you. I've been watching the TV show Tires. Tires is hilarious, by the way. Could never be done on network TV. I'm loving Tires. And K-pop Demon Hunters, loved it. Why can't I see it in a movie theater? Netflix, open your film, open your A-list stuff in a theater. I want to see it on the big screen. You are killing theaters. Support them. I just, please. Why aren't you willing to make money on the side? Bring people to Netflix. Give me a choice. I will pay to see your movies in a theater. Do it. I don't want to see streaming destroy theaters. Fix it, Netflix. Fix it. A freaking IKEA chair. Alan, do you have anything to say?
I have spoken to people at Netflix and people who have made movies for Netflix, and it is a policy and strategy that they will not take their movies to the theaters. In the words that they quote Ted Sarandos as basically saying, theater cannibalizes the bottom line. And so they don't. Apparently, if you want to get your Netflix movie in theaters, you have to negotiate it. And you have to give up, apparently, certain things in terms of compensation for that to happen. I think they produce so much content that it probably is, cannibalizing the bottom line. But certainly Netflix is producing certain titles that are worthy of theaters, and they should embrace that. But they will not. That is something, unless there is a fundamental shift at the top of Netflix, it is not going to happen to see movies come out in theaters, and that is a shame, because I think you're right. If you are a movie maker, if you're a studio that makes movies, you owe it to theaters to give them that, and yeah, you can choose the movies that have a greater shot of making money to go into it, but you should support theaters. Period.
I agree, because a movie that has opened in a theater has more value than something direct to streaming. It just has more value. Anyways, I still give this a strong recommend.
Yeah, if that's your thing, there's nothing wrong with it that makes this a bad movie. It's just taste. It's a matter of taste.
Let's go to comments.
Gamer Plush for 5. I thought you have liked this more, Alan, with the Asian representation.
Yeah, Alan. What do you have against Asians?
Well, I mean, the Koreans for one thing.
Oh, well, I get it.
Razor Burn. I don't know if I can sit through an hour of K-pop. I may commit seppuku. Yes.
Well, if you don't like the music, you probably won't like it.
Exactly. Matter of taste.
Matter of taste. I respect.
Yes.
Oh, no, how about
Yeah, you want to hold on? Okay. And Lord Thothi, is this the gayest Chris ever? It feels that way. I think if he had liked Freakier Friday, it would have been full-born gay. Hertz Donut. It needed Ice Cube, Alan. That's right.
you know what I say to that? Oh, hell no.
No, if he was on a screen the entire movie. Mob 19001. K-pop Demon Hunters. Hollywood adaptation will be all Pedro Pascal in multiple roles.
God, we're so
He would be the lead girl, yeah, definitely. Hertz Donut. Who knew K-pop protected the world? Well,
yeah. And
Koreans did.
That's going to wrap it up for us today. Shorter show because we're in DC. Thanks to our mod, Lord Thoth and MK Solid. Appreciate you both. We're in DC. We're going to do this panel with Drinker in about an hour.
Yeah.
And hopefully it will be on YouTube. I think the Daily Wire is doing coverage. Or am I wrong?
I have no clue, but the Daily Wire is here.
Are you going to wear a blazer, Alan? Or
yes, I'm all. I have to change once the stream is over.
All right, we're going to get out of our t-shirts.
Yeah.
We're going to do a tour of DC, and then we'll be back on Monday with Versus. We're going to talk Gina Carano and more. So there you go. And everyone check out shop.filmthreat.com. Get stuff. Anything else, Alan? What else are you doing this weekend?
Traveling.
Our
schedule seems to be really tight here, so I wish we could do more.
We'll be bar hopping tonight in DC. We'll do a tour tomorrow. Maybe we run into Trump. You never know.
Not the Capitol.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for us. See you Monday with Versus.
So this is the guy who's replacing Jennifer Lee.
It's not the video.
That's the wrong one.
It's the wrong one. Which one?
It's the one with you and me in the picture.
All right. And Alan, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, let's get out of here.